Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel and I'm here to talk about The Walking Dead, this time episode 604, titled Here's Not Here, which premiered on AMC on Sunday, November 1st, 2015. And I have to say, guys, I was not expecting this episode for sure, especially after how this show ended last week. So with that said, first things first, if you haven't seen the episode yet, I suggest that you go check that out first before coming to see what I picked up on it or what I thought about it. I don't want my own thoughts and opinions to influence the way you perceive the episode, and I'm definitely going to be spoiling it in this video, so I hate to be a spoiler for you too for that. Also, I have not read the comics at all. Basically all my thoughts, opinions, predictions, any of that is all derived from what I saw in the episode or whatever I learned from The Talking Dead that takes place immediately after the Walking Dead episode airs. So with that said, let me get my 10-minute clock started and let's begin. So what is something new that we learned in this episode? It's actually a lot. This episode solely faces on Morgan's journey from when we last saw him in season 3 being crazy Morgan to when we see him again at the end of season 5 being Zen master with the bow staff. So between those 2 points, we see Morgan's story, and that's the basis of the whole episode. So something new that we learned is not only that story, but we get to meet a new character by the name of Eastman, and he's basically the original bow staff master. He's the one that taught Morgan how to use how to wield the bow staff and how to basically turn his mind around and help Morgan through his PTSD and get him out of that darkness. And fitting, in fact, is that Eastman, before the whole apocalypse started, he was a forensic psychiatrist from Atlanta, and he dealt with, I guess, rehabilitating or seeing if certain criminals were indeed able to turn over a new leaf. But fitting that the one person that Morgan meets to turn his life around is someone who is very familiar with the inner workings of the mind, so to speak. Okay, so aside from that, we learn a lot about Eastman himself, and we learn how his presence influences Morgan in a sense. So I'll get more into that later. But most shocking moment of the episode, it's actually 2 things, but they are connected. One is that the fact that the leader wolf that Morgan was in a fight with at the end of episode 2, it left off to the point that we thought that Morgan killed him. It turns out, no, that wasn't the case. So that leader wolf is still alive. And so that was a shocker. Also, another thing I found odd was that he mentioned Eastman's children, and I don't know if that's because he has other knowledge about that, or if that's specifically because Morgan had told this wolf his story with Eastman and how it's come full circle for him, because essentially the whole reason why we're seeing the story is because Morgan is retelling it to the wolf in hopes of putting the same process in motion for him. So that's how. So I'm just wondering if he just mentioned Eastman's children because Morgan told him about Eastman having kids and stuff like that. Another shocking thing was the fact that Morgan actually leaves the wolf guy within Alexandrian walls even after he threatens to kill everyone in town once he gets free. I mean, at least Morgan had the good sense to actually lock the gate that holds the wolf in, because I feared for a second when he looked down at those keys that he wasn't going to lock it, similar to how Eastman had Morgan's cell unlocked the whole time. So I'm really glad that Morgan at least has the sense to lock the thing. Otherwise, we're going to see a secret massacre going on at night once that wolf gets free. Either as himself or because he dies from his injury that he needed meds for and he becomes a walker and starts going after everybody. So there's that. Top 3 favorite moments of the episode. First one has to be our very first impression of Eastman. I really liked it because we see him for the first time after he knocked Morgan out, and it's with Eastman holding a bow staff, obviously, but he's in a robe and his PJs. He looked like he was just going outside to get like the morning paper or something, and then like those types of cliched images from like a modern society type morning routine. I just thought it was pretty funny that Morgan, who had a rifle in his hand, got knocked out by a guy holding a stick while in his bathrobe. I thought that was funny. And it was very very memorable first appearance for sure. I also like the wisdom that we kept on getting from Eastman. I really like that, and I also like the whole peaceful routine that Eastman continued to do. It for a while you would forget that he is sitting in the middle of an apocalypse. Aside from the random walkers that come across his little home away from home type thing, you would think that Eastman's just living off the grid with no electronics, nothing to interfere with his new peaceful living. So I definitely like that we got to step away from the whole apocalypse and just got to kind of take a little vacation, I guess you can say. Okay, so my top peeved moments of the episode. One was that we got to introduce this great character in Eastman only to have him killed off in this very episode. I mean, it makes sense because after this great dynamic that was established between Eastman and Morgan, I could only imagine the only way that Morgan would appear again in the present day by himself is because something happened to Eastman. So while I was expecting it, it was still very sad to see it come true when Eastman got bit. But then I also guess that you can't really have both Eastman and Morgan being kind of the same mindset, because then it's kind of two versions of the same character in a way, kind of. So I guess for now Morgan is going to be Eastman 2.0 in a sense. I don't know, I really like Eastman's character. It was a shame that he had to die, but it makes sense why he died. Okay, second peeved moments, really only the last one really, was that we got no answers about Glenn or Rick, since last week's episode showed Glenn dropping into a big walker herd, leaving all of us to assume that he could die, yet unless I see his body with his guts pulled out, or if he's a walker, I'm not going to believe Glenn's dead yet. And then Rick, we last saw him being surrounded by walkers in the RV that wouldn't start up. So in this episode, we got no answers on how those two were going to get out. So we got to wait another week. So that was the only issue I had, is that I did not want to have to wait for those answers. I thought we'd get them this episode, but we didn't. Okay, so what will I remember most about this episode? The fact that it was Morgan's story. It's kind of hard not to think of it as anything else. So it was basically Morgan flashbacks, and it was really great progression, the pacing of it as well. The first 3 episodes were all like bang, 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 and then this one was just slow speed ahead type thing. Okay, so random questions. I only had one when I was watching the episode, and that was, what was the point in burning a pile of dead walkers at night? I mean, it showed Morgan doing that a few times, but I don't get why he does that, since it only draws unwanted attention to him, both dead and alive attention. Dead in the walker sense. So I just wondering what was the purpose of that. And yeah. So quickly on to predictions. I know this is going to be a very quick video because of the fact that it's only one major character that was being focused. But prediction, one would have to be, I believe that wolf leader, something's going to happen. He's either going to die from the infection and then he's going to turn while he's still caged up, or he's going to break out and take someone hostage within camp. Probably one of the kids. And, well, in the little sneak peek that Talking Dead showed, we see Michonne back in Alexandria. So we're going to learn maybe the fate of Glenn then, just by how Maggie reacts. What else? There are also shouts of someone yelling for the gate to open up in that sneak peek, so maybe that's Rick. Maybe not, but hopefully we'll get more answers of how everyone else is outside the gate. Because it's it's definitely nerve-wracking trying to wait and see how our beloved characters are doing in this current situation. So with that said, what did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Were there some things you were surprised to see? Was there some things you wish to have known this episode instead of having to be pushed back further? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't already, and to share this with other Walking Dead fans within the fandom. Just spread the word around, have the fan base growing. It's always great. Yeah, I don't think that's anything else, and I still have time left, so that's pretty great. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, whether you're watching this video right now or this series right now for me, my Walking Dead videos, or if you're also watching any of my other videos. Thank you so much for just tuning in and listening to what I have to say. I guess you can call me a brand new fan of The Walking Dead. This is definitely my first time watching with everyone else instead of binge watching on my own to try to catch up. So I'd love to just talk Walking Dead with you guys, so it'd be great. So until next Sunday, this is Mel wishing you all a great week, and talk to you guys next weekend. Bye for now.